motha. What do you think of my Tony Stark glasses? Welcome to the MaxBang. My name is Max, and I like to drink coffee. The MaxBang is a half-hour hangout. So grab a cup of coffee and how's your mother? The idea with these is to take 30 minutes and just to chill out and maybe form a community. Weird day. Weird year, huh? I think at this point we all know at least one person affected by COVID, and as of last night, the President of the United States tested positive for COVID-19. Weird year. Am I happy that he tested positive for COVID? No, I don't want to wish bodily harm on anyone. Do I wish that he would have taken it more seriously, had a better approach to the better leadership in the country's approach to dealing with this pandemic? Yes. Do I wish he would have taken it more seriously? Yes. Do I wish he would have told his fucking people to wear more masks? Yes. Do I wish he would have listened to scientists, listened to Fauci, listened to policymakers that were more science-based and less political? Yes, obviously. Do I hope he dies? No, obviously, but I also hoped we wouldn't have 200,000 COVID deaths. But here we are. You know, it's a couple of things strike me right off the bat. One, I wish we would have taken it more seriously. Two, anyone can get this. You know, like you think you're playing it safe by like wearing a mask, like sort of around your mouth, but not your nose when you're in the grocery store. Like, take this seriously. You know, there's no way that your life is more safe and secure than the President of the United States is. I mean, by default, by design, by whatever. Like he's, you know. Do you have Secret Service following you around all the time? Are you tested every morning? Do you have scientists working around, the doctors working around the clock to make sure you're A-okay? I mean, if that dude can get it, anybody can get it. So just be safe out there. I can't believe he got it. I wish he wasn't so cavalier about not wearing a mask and not telling people to wear a mask. And I wish everyone would just took this more seriously, but hopefully this will be a wake-up call. Best case scenario it is. Worst case scenario, the entire White House gets infected, can't work, and the executive branch collapses, and then our government collapses, and the world political and I guess world economy collapses, and then that's it. We'll get taken over by Martians. Cool story. Today we are drinking Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Just the regular French press. I ground it myself. I don't know. Sometimes I like the French press. Sometimes I feel like I mess it up. I don't understand. Like, am I putting too much in? Am I not putting too much in? As much as I'm a coffee connoisseur, I would say I'm a relative rookie when it comes to brewing. Never worked in a coffee shop. I worked in a sandwich shop. Plenty of sandwich shops. Oh, man, that was one of the worst days of my life. Holy moly. Man. When I was 14, 15, I got a job in a sandwich shop making, sub sandwiches, grilled cheese. They put me on sandwiches first. Eventually, I graduated to the breakfast, the short order cook. But yeah, my first day... Oh my God. My first day on the job was a Sunday. This is a place in like a beach restaurant where you'd go and like get a sandwich to go and then go to the beach. And my first day was a Sunday of like in July or in June, a summer weekend, Saturday, something like that. And it was a summer weekend morning. And the rush was insane because it was just a billion people all trying to go to the beach, all there like waiting to get their sandwich. And I don't know how to do. I don't know what's on these sandwiches. It's like It's not like I make a sandwich at home. It's like turkey, mustard, bam, done. But these were like relatively, not gourmet sandwiches, but these are fancy pants sandwiches. So I'm sitting there and we are slammed, and literally my entire morning is just, I'm 15 sandwiches behind. The owner had to like jump on my station and help me make sandwiches. Like I cut my hand. Like it was great. It was a little hair braising, hair curling, hair twirling. It wasn't great, but you know what? That was the worst day ever. And the next day was way better. And the next day was way better. And literally the following Sunday, 1 week later, I was like lightning with these sandwiches. You know what I mean? It just so happened that I got thrown right into the fire, and I got burnt to a crisp. That is for sure. But I think it's like most things. Like I probably wouldn't have done it exactly that way, but it did work. I mean, it's like most things. If you have to be ready to be really crappy at something for a long time. And then you get better real quick, or you die. This week I wanted to answer a couple of questions. Yes, another couple of really, really awesome questions. Jerica, a lot of you guys commented what you were eating, which was really, really fun. Apple cider donut with coffee. Talk about like a one sentence short story there. That sentence took me on a roller coaster of emotions. I remember going down a nice rabbit hole of like 1 or 2 sentence short stories. My favorite one, I mean, off the top of my head, was I looked at my reflection, he blinked. Chilling. Apple cider donut with coffee. So I'm thinking like, oh, that's cool. She's drinking apple cider. She must be a fancy lady. But then it turns out it's an apple cider donut. Who makes an apple cider donut? Where do you even get that? Does that exist? Here's what I know. Chocolate donut, jelly donut, French crulla, whatever the glazed, like regular glazed, I guess. And then there's the old fashioned. Those are the 5 donuts I know of. Past that, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I guess like you put sprinkles on any of those, that technically counts. There's a place in my hometown. We used to go there all the time. It's the greatest donuts I've ever had. Homemade donuts. They do them on that thing, and you see in the back the donut move. Linda's Donuts. Oh my God. Unbelievably delicious. One year we had a New Year's party. It wasn't really a party. It was like 8 of us, 10 of us. But it was a lot of couples. It was a good group. It was really fun. We were all getting real rowdy, and we got fucking banged up. It was a good New Year's. And we went to Linda's Donuts that morning, and I vividly remember us sitting in 2 booths like next to each other, just like looking like a bag of dicks, just. And Linda was there, and she's like, oh, how you guys doing? Did you have fun last night? And we're like, yeah, coffee, please, donut, please. And we're all just sitting there, just hungover out of our gourds. Currently eating a chicken pot pie soup from Potbelly. What? What are you guys eating? Is my palate like incredibly boring? I'm like Ritz crackers. First of all, shout out to Potbelly. It's one of the greatest sandwich places of all time. Who took me there? Megan Tonjes took me there one time when we were in Washington, D.C. She was like, this place is legit. It's an East Coast place, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, we'll see how. Oh my God, incredible. Potbelly's is legit. The weird thing about LA is that they don't know how to make a sandwich out here. And there are a few sandwich places, sub-sandwich places that are like renowned, not world renowned, Los Angeles renowned as like the greatest sub shop of all time. And they're like a B+, Boston deli, New York deli. Like, you go to any city on the East Coast pretty much, you're going to get a dynamite sandwich. Another piece of news, I don't know if you saw this, but in Ireland, I think, Subway sandwiches can no longer legally refer to their bread as bread because there's way too much sugar in the bread. Refined sugar may be the dirtiest dog of all. If you're trying to get a little healthy, I would highly recommend looking into that. Spoilers for the main MaxNoSleeves channel. I think MaxNoSleeves, I'm gonna have to do something of a getting back into shape video. I I have been feeling incredibly fat, incredibly skinny. Some might call it skinny fat. Quarantine has not been healthy for me. I eat a lot of chips. My gym is closed. I have no idea what to do. I don't have any weights at home because or I have Brittany. I've been picking up Brittany a lot. I did used to jog to like a pull-up bar in the middle of a playground, but then I got there the other day and it was just like packed with people. Packed. And I'm like, guys, don't you know that we're not supposed to be touching the same stuff? And they're like, whatever, dude, gotta get gains. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. For Christ's sake. I've lost weight before. I've dieted before in incredibly unhealthy ways. So maybe I'll try to do something on the healthier side. Imagine that. And the worst part is I find that it makes me like kind of a little sad. Yeah, like a little like when I work out, I'm very excited afterwards. I'm like still high on my exercise. Maybe it's endorphins. I don't know if I believe in endorphins, but I'm high off my exercise workout for that whole day. And so I think I am going to be getting into it. I got yesterday and the day before. I'm 2 days in. I'm going to be working out after this, but hold me accountable to it for sure. I'm at my desk in the office where I work. I still have to go in 1 to 2 times a week because we have physical paperwork that needs to get mailed out. I don't mind being here too much because it's very quiet, frankly, less distracting than working from home. Wow. I mean, talk about even more. First of all, click. You just said a mouthful. I used to love going into the office on Sundays. There's nobody there. I can go in like gym shorts and Crocs. Socks and Crocs. No, I could go in and, I mean, there was nobody there. It was so quiet. I had the whole place to myself. I didn't have to worry about the phone ringing. That was a big issue in terms of like getting distracted and stuff. I used to love going into the office. The only downside was my girlfriend used to get really mad at me about going into the office on Sundays. Fair enough. But man, working from home, weird AF. That is, okay, let's get into quarantine. Why not? We started out with COVID, we're in quarantine. Let's all work from home. My professional life theoretically shouldn't have changed too much. I still work from home all the time. I write at home. I film at home. I do whatever. The jobs where I'm on set are now non-existent. Before there was probably like once a month, but now they're completely non-existent. But I do find that being home all the time and creating like an office area and a personal area or whatever, it sucks. It really messes with your brain a little bit. I never feel like I'm not working, but I also am incredibly distracted by everything that's going on. Dog and cat and girlfriend, neighbor and leaf blower and all this. Ugh. I haven't really done a very good job about staying on it. I've tried to define zones, which I read was very important. So like you don't work in your bedroom and your living room is a place for like eating and playing or whatever. And then you have a very defined zone where you do your work, my desk, obviously. But you know, the whole place is my work zone. I think it's just going to take a little bit more definition and a little bit more discipline, I think. Breaking news, President Trump to go to military hospital after COVID-19 diagnosis remained for a few days on advice from doctors. Biden tested negative for it, thank God. Pence also tested negative. What a weird year. Anyway, working from home. So yeah, if you need to go to the office, if you need to, I think we all need to figure out a way to be productive. I've gone through 30,000 different ways. None of them stick. Lists sometimes help. I've started doing mini calendars to track habits. It looks like this. It's just numbers on a note card, but I can track the highlighters that I meditated, the exercises that I worked out. I find that's helpful. But I think we all need to figure out our best way to be happy and productive and not be distracted and procrastinating. And unfortunately, one of the biggest ways I procrastinate is watching videos on how to be productive. Oh, what a world. Jen Russell, what's up, dude? I was a swimmer. I would agree that it's equally as hard as wrestling training. 2-a-day practice is having wet hair for the entire season. Man, I can't even imagine having wet hair all the time. I don't even have long head hair. I got a long beard hair, but girls in your wet hair. I'm very happy that I'm an incredibly strong swimmer. I learned at an early age. We were in pools all the time. I also I was in the ocean all the time. I think when you learn as a little kid, you automatically sort of get better as you grow larger. I used to body surf a lot. I didn't surf until I moved out to LA, and even still, I've only like tried it a couple times. But people who don't know how to swim, it's funny, they're like so terrified of it. It's a weird to have someone have like a absolute, totally reasonable fear of something that you just don't give a effing S about. It's like people who have an allergy to something. You're like, oh, there's peanuts? This will kill you? Weird. Nom, 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 nom. I remember, this is going to be a hard story to tell, but here's where we are. I was in a place in Italy called Cinque Terre, Cinque 5, Terra, Tierre, towns, 5 towns. If you've never heard of it, look it up right now. It is beautiful. I was sort of just bumming around. I studied at an exchange program. I was studying in Vienna. After my program ended, I like took a couple weeks and scraped together all the money I had, and I literally did the thing where you just take a train around all of Europe because the train system is amazing, and I lived on bread and cheese and wine. It was amazing. Anyway, one of the stops was Cinque Terre, which was this unbelievably gorgeous place. It's 5 towns, and they're carved into the side of a mountain. And it's just beautiful. And you just sort of sit around and you go to, it's on, I think that's the Amalfi Coast. It's just amazing. Anyway, I'm there one time and we're on sort of we called it a jetty. It's those rock formations that break the waves from the ocean. And there was like a platform there where you could sort of dock, and these waves would come up and crash over the platform. Huge waves. And as the wave goes back, I would walk out to the edge, and I'd look down, I'd just see a bunch of rocks. But then when the platform shot up, there's a bunch of ocean everywhere. It was crazy. It was like a crazy storm waves, but on a beautiful sunny day. Anyway, so there's a bunch of us sitting around there, and we're like trying to dare each other to like jump out into the water. And one of my friends, or one of the guys that was there, was like, so I dare you to do it. And at this point, stupid Max, I'm like, oh, did you dare me? Well, I dare. And I just ran, and as the wave was coming in, I like jumped into it. I felt like Aquaman or whatever, and I jumped into it, landed on water, thank God. Didn't bash my head on the rocks. Well, spoilers, I'm alive. Didn't bash my head on the rocks below. And then I swam out into the ocean, and I could see, it was so cool. And the waves, I mean, they must have been like 30 foot high, because as I was treading water, the wave would pick me up into the air, and I could see over everything, over the whole town, into the next town. And then when the wave would pull me back down, I would see, like, I couldn't see anything. I just saw rocks. It was terrifying. Anyway, I finally swam over to like around the thing, and then there was a ladder there that I like grabbed onto, and it was awesome. I felt like an absolute superhero. But then when I got back to the group, they were like, wow, that was really, really stupid. And I was like, yeah, I know. I'm realizing that now. Thank God everything worked out. One of the kids there who was a local was like, that was really dumb. You shouldn't do that. Like, I'm a local. I can do this, but you absolutely should not. And I was like, oh, really? Like, what makes you so tough? What are you, like 13 years old? I was 20. And he's like, yeah. And so he's like, watch this. And so he sort of walks out onto the edge. He stands there, and then he steps into a wave as it's coming up. Then like somehow rides the wave down and into the ocean. It was like the smoothest thing I've ever seen. It was like he was going down a water slide head first. I jumped in. I was like terrified. You know, he jumped in. He just sort of like casually walked. And then instead of swimming all the way around, like avoiding all the jagged rocks and grabbing onto the ladder thing and hoping he didn't die and, you know, scraping his hand on the thing, he just rode a wave back up onto right where we were. And then just sort of stood there and walked. And I was like, dude, that kid is Aquaman for sure. That was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. What the fuck was that? It's a garbage truck. So it was incredible. And it was one of those moments where I was like, wow, I should just shut the fuck up. And as if I needed any more of like an accent on it, one of my friends, well, not my friends, but one of the other guys that was there, this British guy, was like, "Oh, man, I can do that." That's my British accent. Fantastic. He tries the same thing. He like jumps out. He barely catches the thing down. I see him, and then we're like, "Don't do this. Do not do this. This is stupid." Like, that kid's been swimming at this particular place his whole life. He's like a strong swimmer. You're just like a big fat British guy. He like tries to ride the wave up, steps, slips because like he didn't do it right, slams his ribs on the concrete, and then the water drags him back out. It was like a horror movie. You know what I mean? Drags him back out on the not under the rocks, thank God, but out into the water. So then we had to jump in again, and literally, like, we had to jump in and save him. Me and this other guy were like buddies swimming him back. We got him back on the thing. We had to call the paramedics, like the ambulance. Like, he fucking broke his ribs for sure. It was disgusting. There was blood everywhere. It was horrifying. What's the moral of the story? I don't know. But if a local tells you not to do something, you probably shouldn't do it. That's an okay moral, I suppose. Shannon's been around for a long time. Thanks for watching for so long. You're asking about how I shave my beard. I gotta tell you, I get questions about that every day. I did just get this in the mail from Philips. Thank you so much, Philips. This is a multi-groom 7000. Am I going to shave my beard? I don't know. Sometimes I hate it. Sometimes I just don't care about it. The beard community is very bizarre. But I think it's I don't know. Maybe it's time for a change. We'll see. What do you think? How long have you grown your beard? Let me know in the comments below. Are there any updates you want to share from the writing class you took? Is that still happening? Ashley Stewart. The writing class I took was it was a sketch writing course. So what does it mean to be a writer? I have no idea. I suppose theoretically I am, because I've written a lot of things. But there are people who specialize. For example, there's screenwriters, there's people who write novels, people who write plays, you know. Sketch writing, I think, is like Saturday Night Live, short, funny bits. The course that I took was called sketch writing, but I just finished a really great book on screenwriting, so maybe I'll try to put something down on paper there. What did I learn from the writing course? The writing course I took was not very learning heavy. It was you had to write something every week, and then everyone in the class you'd assign roles to everyone else in the class, and we would read it out. And then at the end, the instructor would sort of punch it up a little bit. So he'd say like, okay, don't you think here that this lady, that should have been her husband? And you're like, oh man, yeah, that would be really funny. Great, write it down, done. But we didn't get into like structure. We didn't get into like any rules of thumb for what makes something funny or what makes something doesn't. It was sort of just like nuggets thrown out here and there, and then we would sort of just move on. Unfortunately, I think it was partly because it was a Zoom class, and a lot of classes now are sort of adjusting to Zoom. And I don't think Zoom translates really well for a lot of things. I think for some things it's okay, but for definitely not for everything. Brittany was talking about she took an acting course on Zoom. I mean, that sucks. You know, part of acting is being in the room with someone, feeling their energy, working together non-verbally to create something interesting or to conjure up an emotion or whatever. Like, you can't do that on Zoom. I mean, she was doing monologues, thank God, but like, you know, you can't be interacting with people on Zoom. It's ridiculous. But anyway, the biggest thing I took away from the writing course was not a lot of tidbits, honestly. The biggest one I learned was that writers write. You know, if you want to be something, you have to continually do that thing. Writers write. If you want to be a writer, you got to write every morning. You got to write short stories. You got to write jokes. You got to write, you know, tear-jerker scenes, jerk-off scenes. I don't know. You got to write plays. You got to try to write a book. You got to try to write blah, blah, blah. And that's something that I'm sort of working on myself. I don't think I'm particularly good at that. Structure is not a big... Structure has never been my strong suit. But I think it is a valuable lesson. If you want to be someone who does something, you just continually do that thing, and then suddenly you are that person. You want to be someone who works out, just start working out. And if you work out enough days in a row, you're someone who works out. You know what I mean? You want to be a cook, start cooking. What's cooking? Good looking? I don't know. We're definitely in a weird time. And I think that a lot of times when I get bogged down is like, I want to do this, 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 and this. I don't have the time to do this. I don't have the time to start that, like blah, blah, blah. But in reality, you just make the time to do the thing that you think you want to do. And if you like it, you keep doing it. And then that's it. I don't know. Anyway, let me know how you guys are doing at home. I feel like quarantine has been dragging on me a little bit too much. And I hope you're doing really well. Your homework this week is to get someone else to subscribe to this channel. And to let me know how you're doing in quarantine still, if you're working from home. But that's going to do it for this week. And I hope you had an excellent, productive week and you're excited for an excellent, relaxing weekend. Keep banging.